Apple and our other major companies will start making their iPhones and their computers and other products inside the United States, not in China and all over the world except here, okay?
Now, Apple has started a $1 billion fund to invest in U.S. manufacturing jobs. Last year, it invested $50 billion in the U.S. It says it created 2 million jobs, not just at Apple, but at suppliers and developers and the like. Apple CEO Tim Cook staying silent on the president's claim of 3 factories. Let's bring in our blue-collar economist. He is Joe the Plumber. He's Joe Wurzelbacher, Vice President of Liberty Alliance Public Relations. Joe, it's good you're on the show. We love having you. You know, jobs are on the top of the mind of everyday Americans. What does this news about this Foxconn factory here mean for U.S. jobs?
Well, you remember the old saying, the old slogan back in the 80s, hungry, out of work, eat your imports? Well, President Donald Trump is making it unpopular for American manufacturers to make money off the backs of foreign workers. And he's, showing actions are louder than words. He's showing that he's moving manufacturing back to America. He's making it very unpopular for people to go out of America to make more money and essentially rob Americans of the taxes that, go to the federal government. So I'm very excited for this. He was also in Youngstown, Ohio the other day talking about bringing steel manufacturing. And I tell you what, I think he's going to do it. I really do.
You know, Democrats Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer say Donald Trump has it all wrong, that he does not know how to make manufacturing jobs, that their agenda, their new plan, a better deal, will create manufacturing jobs. And what do you say?
Where they've been for the last 8, 12, 16 years. I don't even think Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or Pocahontas know where Wisconsin is. And so these guys are just all talk, no action. Donald Trump's doing it. These people think 10,000 jobs is nothing, but, I asked them to go to Wisconsin and talk to these people that are going to get these jobs and ask them if, it's not a big deal to them. People are not numbers on a spreadsheet. These are people who have to pay for college, have to buy groceries, have to buy health care. This is a very big deal to Americans, and the Democrats need to jump on board and get out of the way, one of the two.
Foxconn factory in China has a problem with low pay accusations and suicide, so much so they installed nets at one point outside of their buildings for fear people would jump. They're doing this today. Does this mean they are the best company for the U.S.?
Well, I believe when they come to America, one, they're going to get a couple great things. They're going to get American workers, which is going to be incredible for them. Two, we're going to make sure that the working conditions are right. That's never been a problem in America. We've worked that out a long time ago. So I think it's going to be a great thing. And ultimately, you're going to see proud Americans. You're going to see Americans that are being put to work again. And, that's one thing that scares the Democrats. They don't like people actually fending for themselves and have an independent thought because then that takes away from their base.
The critics of the Democrats have been this. They don't see that the U.S. is behind the 8 ball. The criticism has been that the Democrats think the growth fairy exists via bridge troll bureaucrats in D.C. Meantime, China has put a huge focus on large-scale manufacturing in the U.S. In China. The U.S. has not. And, Tim Cook, Joe, has said that you can put every tool and die maker in the U.S. in one room versus China's multiple football fields worth of their factory workers. I mean, U.S. manufacturing job growth is at 1940s levels.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Barack Obama, even talked about that and saying manufacturing is dead in America, but he didn't check with the American people on that. He was making a very wide accusation and didn't have anything to back it up. People want to work, and if you bring the jobs here, you're going to get good satisfaction from the American people. So as far as Tim Cook goes, he also gets out of the way of paying taxes here in this country. They have their taxes set up over in Ireland where they're paying 12.5%. And America is getting a big goose egg. They're not getting anything from it.
Yeah, so, Joe, that's a great point that you bring up, and I appreciate you brought that up, because Tim Cook said it's not patriotic to pay more in taxes given how much the government spends. He has said that if you lower the corporate rate, he will unlock that cash overseas. They have a $250 billion cash pile at Apple. I mean, under Obama, the U.S. corporate cash pile grew 2.5 times because companies, it seemed, got panicked. And they put 90% of that overseas. You bring it back home, you make more factories, you make more jobs, right?
Well, exactly. But you can't blame the manufacturer, the businessman, for wanting to pay less taxes. I mean, that's why, that's the problem. And the Republicans and Democrats have screwed the American people for a long time, making it harder for big businesses and small business to make money here in America. And Donald Trump himself had gone overseas to have some of his product made. Now, that being said, he used the system that was put in place, but now that he's become president, he wants to fix the system and bring those jobs back to America, those factories back to America, and put Americans to work. And, that's really what it comes down to is